to be more specifically in Brixton Mosque, because they are coming from very poor backgrounds and they are hungry. So they will kill for Fahad. They break noses in Brixton Mosque on 3 occasions for the love of Fahad. One of them even cried on the mimbar. He was giving a khutbah on a Friday and he was crying tears. His shirt was soaked with tears. Why do you speak bad about Fahad? If you were rich like him, you would do the same thing. Keep quiet about him. So he loved him so much that on the mimbar he cried, hoping that the news will reach in their report that they write report every month about the dawah they do. So in his report he can put, I cried for you, so increase my salary. You want his report to look fancy. So poverty, why is it that the Afro-Caribbean community of Brixton Mosque, they are the most vehement in their love for Fahad? The answer is clear. Omar said poverty leads to what? To kufr. Poverty leads to kufr. So you find people who are in this movement are the very rich Arabs in the Gulf, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman. You don't find Algerians and Moroccans and Tunisians in this movement. Am I lying? Am I lying?
There are a few in Morocco.
Now talking in this country, do you find Moroccans and Algerians in Salafi movement? If I'm lying, tell me. I want to be corrected. There's a few in this country. But the vast majority, are they in that movement? No. Just 1 and 2. The people of this movement are the rich Arabs in the Gulf who have something to lose. I was in Swansea and they invited me for a speech. And the person, you will think he's pious because he has a beard and a thobe, whitish thobe, long beard. And he supported the regime. Now he got a scholarship from Fahad to study in the university. He said, well, if he was so evil, why did he let me study? He gave me a scholarship to study, and look, I have a PhD. So he's concerned, I'm going to go back to Saudi Arabia with a PhD from a university in England, from England. That means I'm going to get a nice job, a handsome salary. I can afford to have wives upon wives. I look at my beard, is so long and nice. But you know, they think they are insulting our intelligence. I will tell you how. I can make Hajj. So there's no need for Sharia. Look. So he thinks that Sharia, as long as individually he can benefit from the government, why not benefit and keep quiet? So the Saudi American bank, the Saudi Hollandi bank, the Saudi British bank, the Saudi French bank, I don't worry about that. Look, I get a salary. At first I get a scholarship. I get my PhD, I get a salary. He's not as evil as we think. If he was so evil, why did he give me a scholarship? I have a PhD. So many people, they have to pay thousands of pounds for their PhD. I got it free. So they accept the bribery. It is called the offer of courage. What is it called? The offer of courage. So these people, they accept the offer of courage and then cement the throne of the apostate leaders. But if you see this man, you think he's pious because he speaks Arabic, he has a beard, and he has a thought. But we say to them, don't insult our intelligence. We don't accept you as a believer because of a beard and a thobe, because Fidel Castro of Cuba has a nice beard. And the Pope, every time I see him on TV, he has a nice thobe. Don't insult our intelligence. We don't accept you as a believer by the virtue of a beard and a thobe. We accept you as a believer by the virtue of your stance. What is your stance? I don't accept you as a believer because of your knowledge. The shaitan has knowledge as well. What is your stance? We only respect your stance. In their ill-fated attempt to defend the leaders, they quote the Daif hadith, or I've already quoted to you that hadith, that if he makes a mistake, you should hold him by the hand. Brothers, please bear with me and soon we'll be finishing. They claim that fiqh al-waqi is not important. Fiqh al-waqi means the fiqh of current events. Fiqh al-waqi is irrelevant, it's not important, because they are very, very selfish people. Their Islam is, you sign on. Whether you sign on a John Major or you sign on a King Fahd, you sign on. You live in double glazed house, and you have a couple of wives, so you drive a nice car. No jihad. Oh, there's no caliph, no jihad, no. So you can, I don't have to sacrifice. No sacrifice. So this aqidah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the biggest movement in this country, because most of the Muslims are hypocrites. So this aqidah is very attractive to hypocrites. Imagine, I can be a Muslim without making any sacrifice. Subhanallah. What a wonderful Islam. This is a new Islam. Islam without sacrifice. I sign on, live in double glazed house, have a couple of wives, drive around in Peerage or Emerage. No caliph, no jihad, no sacrifice. Subhanallah. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are the strongest movement, because most of the Muslims are hypocrites. And if a Muslim woman wants to marry a man, sometimes she said, is he a jihadi? Oh, I don't want him. Because she doesn't want to give up home and living in these tenders and neighbors. And jihad brothers don't allow their wives to watch this garbage. Also, oh, he's going to go to Afghanistan for training. I will be left alone. The women, they love to marry Muslim men who said that there is no jihad nowhere in the world. So you'll find people, hypocrites, they have 2 wives and 3 wives. And their women are also evil. Because a woman is supposed to help her husband to go to paradise. So if I have a wife, and I am a hypocrite, an evil scholar, supporting the corrupted leaders, and my wife don't say to me, hey, Faisal, what are you doing? You studied for 8 years and you turn out to be a scholar for $1. I'm sorry, I don't want you anymore. You make me sick. If your wife can speak to you like that, what's the point in having her then? So your wife is supposed to correct you and help you and pull you up when she sees that you're going astray. But these salafis, their wives don't help them, so their wives are also evil. And the reason why they keep quiet is because they are also in it for the money. They are also in it for the money, so they can be able to dress in fancy dresses and so on and so forth. They are dunyafied. And women are more dunyafied than men, because the Prophet said when the Dajjal comes, most of his followers will be women and Jews. Fiqh al-Waqi', they don't believe in it. So for you to be concerned about the other Muslims in other parts of the world, it's not really important. How can you make that claim when the Prophet said, مَثَلُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ فِي تَوَادِهِمْ وَتَعَاطُفِهِمْ وَتَرَاحُمِهِمْ مَثَلَ الْجَسَدِ إِذَا اشْتَكَى مِنْ عُضْوٍ تَدَاعَى لَهُ سَائِرُ الْجَسَدِ بِالْحَمِّ وَالسَّهَرِ. This hadith is in volume 8 of Bukhari, page 26. The believers, in their love, their mercy and affection for each other, is like one body. If one part of the body is affected, the whole body is affected. This is fiqh al-waqi'. Anyone who wakes up one morning and he's not concerned about the Muslims in other parts of the world, he is not one of us. Why? Because the Prophet said we are one body. If one part is affected, the whole body is affected. The whole body is affected. So if they don't believe in jihad because there's no caliph, well then when there's a jihad, an outbreak, they rush there. They rush there for wives. So they're like hyenas. As soon as the mujahideen die, they marry their wives. They are like hyenas. So when there was a jihad in Bosnia, they go to Croatia and marry women and come back. Why? Because they don't believe that there's a jihad, so they will never go to the front line. And they also go to the jihad to spread their Salafi Aqidah. To spread their Salafi Aqidah. They claim that the leaders are still Muslims because they see them praying on CNN, ITN, and so on and so forth. We say to them that Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul used to pray. He used to give khutbahs, and when he died, the Prophet said, "وَلَا تُصَلِّ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ مِّنْهُمْ مَاتَ أَبَدًا وَلَا تَقُمْ عَلَىٰ قَبْرِهِ إِنَّهُمْ كَفَرُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَمَاتُوا فَاسِقُونَ." Surah Tawbah, verse 84. Do not pray over a single one of them who die, nor should you stand by their graves. They die rejecting faith in Allah and His Messenger, that they die while they are in a state of fisk. When the Prophet stood up to pray over this man, Omar grabbed onto the shirt of the Prophet and was pulling the Prophet down. Will you pray over this man? Alright, Sayyid, where is he? Will you pray over this man, O Messenger of Allah? He's a hypocrite. The Prophet still prayed over him. He did not listen to Omar. And what did Allah do? Allah revealed Surah Tawbah 84, telling the Prophet that Omar was correct and you, the Prophet, was wrong. Even though this man, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, used to pray and he used to give khutbahs in the masjid, he died a kafir, he died a hypocrite. So a person praying is no evidence that he is a believer, firm in al-Islam, firm with Iman. Now they claim that the leaders, they are still Muslims, even though they kill Muslims. And we say, you claim that you follow the pious predecessors. So bring us one evidence from the pious predecessors that the leaders are Muslims, even though they kill Muslims. Oh, Hajjaj. Hajjaj is our evidence. So you're no longer following the pious predecessors because your example is Hajjaj. So you're no longer following the pious predecessors. So they said Hajjaj was